Hey guys, Ben here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 5, and before we start today's video, I've been uploading quite a lot of videos on my film channel, including my best films of 2018 and my worst films of 2018, all in my opinion. So if you guys could check them out in the link in the description below, that would mean so much to me. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into this video. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new, so you don't miss any DC TV videos as we head towards next year. So we are on break right now. Obviously there's not much videos that I can do because there's basically no news. So recently I've been kind of just coming up with theories and ideas, thinking back and looking back at some of the past episodes of The Flash, Supergirl and all the different shows. So I have a new theory today, and this is in regards to mainly Eobard, Thawne and the Reverse Flash and Nora, and you know, a bit about like Nora actually being Dawn, or like potential future plot lines in how I think Season 5 is going to play out heading into Season 6. So let's start off this video. Personally, I'm really excited for the back half of Season 5. Season 5 has been amazing so far. It is very promising for the back half. I loved how they ended the mid-season finale and the cliffhanger with Eobard Thawne working with Nora in 2049 out of Iron Heights. I thought that ending was really impactful. I loved that last episode, and that really has got me wanting more. It has created so many questions in my mind, and it's created so many possibilities that could be played out this season and, you know, moving on into future seasons. So we can make the presumption that Thawne is going to be sort of the background villain of the rest of Season 5. I do believe he's not going to be like the main villain, but sort of like the overarching villain over Cicada, and so we can presume that from what we got, considering like the reason why Nora is doing all of this stuff is mainly to do with Reverse Flash and him helping Nora. Like presumably he's trained her and he's sort of molded her to who she is as the speedster today, and so maybe Nora becomes the villain. I think that's a very far-fetched theory, but I do believe Cicada is going to stay there, but I think Reverse Flash is going to be in the background. But personally, I would like them to actually play out Season 5 with Thawne heavily involved, but only in the background, and maybe in the finale or something like that. They tease the idea of Thawne actually becoming a villain, like once again a sort of center forward villain like he was in Season 1, and so I would prefer if he was the villain in Season 6, and this is very fitting because we have Crisis on Infinite Earths coming up next season, and what do we know in the newspaper article? The Crisis is heavily to do with Reverse Flash. So if Reverse Flash has something to play, maybe he plays into Anti-Monitor, I think this would be the perfect chance to have him return as the main villain for another season of The Flash. And so far I've been really liking Cicada. And I think with what Thawne has been teased to be in the finale, with him sort of like being the puppet master, controlling what Nora is doing, and you know, she doesn't really know all too much about her father's past when you come to think of it, as it's been pointing out this season. And also recently there was a video that was released by Carlos Valdez of Eobard Thawne and a potential new suit, and so I think this could be like one of the concepts leading towards a bigger arc, and I think this bigger arc would be perfect for Season 6. So what do you think about that theory? Let me know in the comments below. So this season we do know that Nora doesn't really know too much, as I've mentioned, about Reverse Flash, and she didn't even know Barry's mum was killed by Reverse Flash, and so she's been working with him the entire time. At face value, before we found out about that, you would assume she hates Reverse Flash, she hates all these villains, but instead it doesn't seem that way, and she was kind of admiring the Reverse Flash's suit in the past and things like that, until Barry revealed, yes, she was actually Nora Allen, Barry's mum, was killed by Reverse Flash. So she doesn't really know all too much about the past, and she's been trying to learn these different pieces, and so I do believe the reasoning for why Nora and Eobard are working together is going to be kind of shady and sort of like under the radar, but I think they're going to work it out, and I don't think they're going to be at each other's throats necessarily as we head into the back half of the season, at least early on, maybe later down the line. But I think the way that Eobard has gained the trust of Nora is via manipulation, and we know he is the best at that. And Nora is rather naive, and she's rather childish, even though she's like decently old now. And so Eobard will most likely take a hold of that childlike innocence inside of her, wanting to become this hero, wanting to find out more about the Flash, and he has all the answers because he is the #1 super fan of the Flash. He knows everything, he can teach her everything because he has the same powers, but also he knows everything about Barry Allen. And so I do believe that as the season goes on, she's going to find out more and more about Reverse Flash, and more about the treacherous things he's done, and more about her father, and how much tragedy he's had to go through, and everyone surrounding him has had to go through. And so I think at some point in the season, Nora's going to snap and break out of that relationship with Reverse Flash. So now let's move on to talk about Thawne Allen. This is the theory regarding one of the lines spoken in the Flash's 100th episode with Eobard Thawne in the past, trying to guess Barry's daughter's name. And so he says, "Oh, so you're Thawne Allen," or something along those lines, and she reveals she's called Nora Allen. So was Nora originally named Thawne in the original timeline? And I do believe the answer to that question was yes. I do believe she would have originally been called Thawne. She would have been born probably later in the future, and that's why the Reverse Flash from the original timeline, because this is back in the past, this is the version of the Reverse Flash from season 1 that gets erased. So he's from that original timeline, and somehow he hasn't lost most of his memories. Maybe he's lost quite a lot of them, but he does remember that Thawne is a daughter of Barry. And so with the timeline changing all those years ago, with Reverse Flash running back in time with the Flash, and with him trying to kill young Barry but failing to do so, he kills Nora. And in that timeline change, with Nora Allen actually being dead, and now it's cemented, this has cemented the new reality that due to Nora Allen being killed in the past, this cements the idea of Barry and Iris having to name their daughter in the future, who would have originally been called Thawne, Nora, in order to honor Barry's parents, because it makes a lot of sense. And I do believe that in the original timeline, she would have been called Thawne Allen, and I think this is a really nice homage, and I think this is a definite concept, and maybe this links into the idea that we are going to see maybe a twin sometime later in the season in regards to the Tornado Twins, if she was originally called Thawne. So in that original timeline there was probably the Tornado Twins in the future. So will we see John in the season? Maybe a different name, maybe it's Henry Allen or something along those lines. I think that would be a really nice homage. And so moving back to the 100th episode, Eobard comments something along the lines of, well, at least you still have one. And so at first I didn't really think about that, but now I do believe it has some sort of a double meaning. And so I do believe this links into Thawne and Thawne Allen, and the fact that maybe that in this new timeline Barry has still one of these children, but maybe in this new timeline maybe Don doesn't exist, perhaps. So a big theory going forward into the season is we'll probably get to see maybe a glimpse of the future. We know there's a future flashback episode that they're doing with Nora and Reverse Flash in the future, where we're going to get some answers. They've teased that, but they haven't shot it yet, so that's sometime later in the season. And I think as we head towards the end of the season, we're going to see these different elements. Maybe they will confirm Don exists, maybe they won't. You know, it's not a massive deal if he doesn't exist, but I think that's something to note down. And so a final theory that I want to talk about, I've heard this like online a little bit, not too much, but the fact that maybe Thawne Allen is in fact a speedster in the future. He's the new version of the Flash, and Nora, as his sister, was jealous that she didn't have the powers, and she found out and worked her way to Reverse Flash, and he was able to repower her and get her powers back. And then she realizes, oh shit, Iris has done this to me, and maybe that is one reason why she could be trusting Reverse Flash. So I think that's a sort of more out there concept, but I think that could happen. So just note that down along with all these other theories in this video. So anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know this has been sort of a more twisted theory video because, you know, it's a lot of going over similar concepts. So if you didn't get the grasp of the video, maybe watch it again or just read some theories online, because I do note that theory videos can be very confusing because it's a lot of similar thread lines that you go over and you do it over and over and over again. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.